again!
It's almost!
He's done it again! Unbelievable!
Oh, straight into the roof of the net.
Nice one.
Straight down the middle. So a good performance from both teams here.
Hi, how are you doing? I'm Rupha Ramani and you're watching FirstPost. Now it's that time of the day when we get you a little something extra. You hear and read the news and FirstPost gives you a little more. A fresh perspective, a backstory, an explainer to understand a sport or its athletes a little better. We've got a wide range heading your way today, so let's first check out what's in store in our lineup. India's first individual gold medalist speaks exclusively to FirstPost. Sift Kaur Samra not only became India's only individual female gold medalist in shooting at the Asian Games, but also set a new world record in the toughest discipline in shooting, the 50-meter three-position rifle event. Over in cricket, you know World Cup is about to hit a fever pitch when the trophy is at the stadium near you. The ICC ODI World Cup trophy visits the Arun Jaitley Stadium in India's capital, and look who's finally here. The Pakistan cricket team set foot in India for the first time in 7 long years. The World Cup is truly here. And after some bitter build-up with China denying visa to 3 of India's athletes from Arunachal Pradesh set to take part in Wushu, India bags a silver in the event. We tell you more about that and the sport Wushu itself. That and more coming your way, but here's what's making all the headlines from around the world in Sports 360. Australia breathes a sigh of relief. They beat India by 66 runs in the third and final ODI match. India still won the 3-match ODI series 2-1. The two sides will meet again on the 8th of October at the World Cup now. The ICC World Cup, as we know, is upon us. The teams are all here. The warm-up matches begin tomorrow in Hyderabad, Guwahati and Thiruvananthapuram. New Zealand, Pakistan, Afghanistan. Some of the teams to kickstart their campaign at the World Cup. Staying with cricket, Afghanistan pacer Naveen-ul-Haq has announced his retirement. The bowler says that the upcoming one-day World Cup will be his last international stint. The announcement has shocked fans of the Afghan bowler. Ul-Haq is only 24 years old and has been a crucial member of the Afghan squad. In football, Manchester City crashed out of the English Football League Cup. This was after hosts Newcastle United beat Manchester City 1-0 in last night's match. Alexander Isak scored for Newcastle in the 53rd minute to pull off the upset. And after a successful MotoGP debut, officials want to revive the spectacle of Formula One racing in India. Talks are currently underway to bring back F1 racing. It could make a comeback to India by 2025, says reports. The last F1 race in India was held in 2013 and saw Red Bull's Sebastian Vettel dominate the track. Now, shooting has always been a sport India has revelled in, another discipline that has had a rich tradition in the country. There was a phase where all hopes would be pinned on these men: Rajyavardhan Singh Rathore, Gagan Narang, Jaspal Rana, Manavjit Singh Sandhu, Vijay Kumar, Ranjan Sodhi, Abhinav Bindra. They were part of a glorious phase of Indian shooting. There were a few women too who came to the fore. Soma Datta led the charge, followed by Anjali Bhagwat, Hina Sidhu, Tejaswini Sawant, Rahi Sarnabat. How could we forget her? All these are incredible sports persons. But take a moment to register what Sift Kaur Samra has achieved. Firstly, she's all of just 22 years old, part of a new India that has teenagers not just making up the numbers but dominating the world when it comes to their discipline. A girl who studied to become a doctor decided to quit that and take up shooting instead. Now she won gold at 50-meter rifle 3-position event. You have to shoot a target that is 50 meters away. It's quite a distance. And she has to do this over a stipulated amount of time. And in 3 positions: kneeling, prone, which is lying down, and standing. Each shooter will fire 40 shots each in these 3 positions within a time frame. Now, it used to be 20 shots each for the women earlier till 2018, when they changed the rule to equal the number for both men and women. That's 40. It's not easy. No wonder it is termed as the marathon in shooting, something that takes a lot of effort. and double the concentration. And what did she achieve? She is the only woman from India to have won gold in the Asian Games in this event, individual gold. She is only the second woman from India to have won an individual shooting gold. The first, Rahi Sarnabat, just in the previous edition. And it doesn't stop here. She set a new world record with her performance. What she did shoot scored 469.6 points, a new world record by 2.6 points. Now, that's a huge margin in a sport that deals in decimals. She beat China's Hyunghu Zhang, score of 462.3, a good 7.3 points ahead. Again, a massive margin. Who, by the way, is the reigning world champion herself, the Chinese. Prior to this, in qualification, Sift Kaur had set a new Asian Games record with an impressive score of 594 out of 600. So I thought we should speak to this champion. Joining me on Mic Up today is Sift Kaur Samra from Hangzhou, who's gotten into the habit of calling me ma'am, as much as I hate it. Thank you so much for speaking to FirstPost, Samra.
Thank you so much.
All right, so many youngsters and teenagers coming through for India, Sift, at an age that's meant to chill and have some fun. And you're winning medals. Have you thought of that?
But I think this shooting is a part of our life, and now this is our fun. And there are more young athletes than me also. So I'm thinking, I was thinking that I started at very late. I should more start early. Why I started late? They're so young and they're doing so well. So I'm not thinking about that. Maybe it's 22. I'm thinking it's 22. I should start more early.
Well, you're being a little too harsh, but we want to ask you, how come shooting of all sports?
Actually, I was not into any sports or something. So there was a Karan Sekho. He's shotgun shooter. So he introduced me to the shooting. So he told my dad he should start shooting, and he went for the World University Games and went to more international events. So I watched him on the TV. Then in this year, I was like, the same time I went to World University Games and I was in that opening ceremony. I want this. I want that blazer with me. So for that, I think I started shooting.
Well, it's not just the desire that got you here. There are a lot of skill sets that you require while shooting. Can you please take us through that?
I think, as we all know, that shooting is a really sports of focus and the patience. So for that, I don't do anything special. I just stay happy and don't think about the 24 hours just for shooting. When I enter the range, then I think about the shooting. I do all my processes that my coaches taught me, or the things that I discuss with my coaches, that they always say that we should not be doing something panic things. Just be calm and be just normal that it needs to. And I think that's only helping me. And staying happy and cheerful is my thing. So, yeah.
So has shooting made you calm, or you shoot because you're calm by nature? What is it?
No, I think first one I would say it's better, because from the day one, if I'm in the range, then I'm totally a different person. When I'm just shooting, when I'm out of my lane, then I'm totally a different person. Like, okay, this is my chill mode now. And when it's a range time, then okay, I have to focus on my shots, I have to focus on my process. So both are the different things.
Now, they call the 50-meter rifle 3 position as the toughest. It's the marathon when it comes to shooting. Why so?
Yeah, it's a bit, you can say, different and difficult at the same time, because you have to switch to the 3 positions and we have to finish our match in 1 hour and 30 minutes, including our sighters and including all the things. So for the training also, we train like that, doing 3 positions in a single day. It's really hectic. But at the same time, we only choose this. And I think the more difficult things are, more easily we enjoy that when we get into that achievement or success. So I think this is wonderful when I just came back and I got to know that, okay, all are saying that is the most difficult and Sift won a gold. So I think it's the best thing I ever heard, and I'm feeling it. So.
Yeah, we'll get through that moment in a bit. But speaking about the sport itself, Sift, you're talking about how difficult it is, but we want to know what goes through your mind there. There's obviously so much of focus required, but what are you thinking at that point when you are shooting? Because you talk about how you have 2 different personalities when you're off the ranges. right there during that pressure situation, what's going through your mind?
So basically, if it's kneeling and it's the first position we start with our match, so at that time I am a bit nervous because it's always thinking that maybe this should go well, this should not be going bad or something like that. So after we're kneeling, I don't think a lot. I just repeat my process. I just repeat in my mind, like in the school times we used to do A, B, C. So I do it like that way. So I repeat again and again in every single shot. And I think our coaches told us that single shot we had a match. We don't need to think that okay, this is first shot or this is a like last shot. You have to play a single shot. This is only one shot I have, and I have to play it well, and I have to just mark it good. So for me, I think I don't think anything different. I just focus on my process or thing.
All right. We want to ask you about the event itself that you won. When did you know that you had sort of made a new world record?
It was like when I just packed all the things. I went for medal ceremony. After the medal ceremony, when I went to the media told me that it's a world record. So I was like, okay, I was not doing that.
But take us through that feeling of that moment when you were on that podium listening to the national anthem. What did you feel like? Take us through that moment, please.
That feeling we can't express. You can just feel it. And the most wonderful feeling I had when I just turned back after my last shot, our foreign coach, he was literally crying. And from the another country, a person is crying for India. Like it was speechless for me, and I was like, that he's crying, and he's a shooter from Austria. So he just said that it was a wonderful match, and I was like, this was the thing I wanted. That, and I heard a lot of my physios. They all were like, we just tried because it was India's first gold medal in 50 meter as well from the past few years, or I think in 50 meter was the first gold ever. So I think that thing was so speechless for me, and I was not knowing what I should say. I was just smiling, and I was just having enjoying that moment and listening to the national anthem. That too in other country, I think the goosebumps. I can't express it.
Yeah, it was a great moment and very emotional for all of us as well to know that you achieved this fifth. But I have to ask you, from doctor to shooter, that's quite a transition.
So when I cleared the NEET, and I was thinking that I will quit shooting because I was in like 18, 19 position in seniors, and I was junior. So my junior was also going to end. So I was like, me and my family was like, कि seniors है, पता नहीं होगा, नहीं होगा. So let's just go for a doctorate thing, and it's a secure career. We all know that. But I think the nationals I played after my NEET exam when I was knowing that okay, now I got the seat, so it's fine. And I think that nationals I played so calmly, and that was a junior record I broke up. And in senior, I was first, and suddenly in the ranking, I got in the first from like nowhere in the seniors. So that suddenly changed my life. From there, I was continuous in the team, and in the senior team, that was a big thing. So I got admission in MBBS. I went to college, but my attendance was not that 80%. So college said, "Ki, you can't give the exams, you have to be the 80% attendance." But it was not possible at the same time because I have to train also, and I have to go for the international competitions also. So that's why final decision we took that we can quit it and we can do shooting.
Right, but I have to ask you about the future. Paris Olympics, is that on your mind?
Like I'm telling this to all the news channels and something. See, I already won a Olympics quota, so in World Championship. But thinking about the Paris 2024, it's in next year, so we have a time. So I think I will be focusing on the matches that we are having in this year. Because in this year we are having a World Championship, and then we are having national games, national championships. So I think this year if I focus on well, then it might be that I will be the one going for a Paris 2024. And if I will be thinking from now of the Paris 24, then I think it might change. So better it's like the things I'm having in my hand, I should focus on that rather than things I don't have in my hand.
Yeah, fair enough. That's fair. But just to wrap this interview up, Sift, I have to ask you, who are your role models? Who inspires you really?
Like this, I don't have any role models. I like a few stories of athletes. Like first is Milkha Singh. Like we had seen that how what a struggle he did, and I wished I could ever meet him, but I never met him, and it can't possible. And second, I think PV Sindhu because she's the one having two Olympic medals, bronze, silver, and hopefully in 2024 she will get gold. So I think that's the great thing. And more like I inspiration, I think it's my dad because leaving his things that his work for me and taking to me all the matches. So I think he did a lot for me.
All right, Sift, we really, really wish you all the very best. You've really given us a lot of joy here. So take care and thank you so much for speaking to us.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, switching focus now to our next story here. Now, the World Cup is truly here. It's in India, and as any Bollywood script goes, has all the trappings of drama, romance and thrills. The romance symbolized by cricket's biggest carnival after the Indian Premier League, the World Cup coming to the country. The drama unfolded some days ago when Pakistan cricket team was yet to receive their visas. And late last night, somewhere in the evening, the bunch finally landed in the country for the first time in 7 years. Now let's face it, it's going to be a face-off that has all the trappings of a blockbuster and one the world is waiting for. Right, you could just hear the cheers as they landed and they arrived in Hyderabad, if I'm correct. I know broadcasters from all around the world coming in to cover their country's fortunes have added another game to their already grueling schedule. That's the India-Pakistan encounter. A top billing needs some top build-up as well. So let's look at the history of Pakistan when they have toured India, especially in this sport. The men's team. The team, of course, started touring way back in 1952. From then, right up till 1986, it was quite regular, whether it was the 1960 series or the 70 series after that. It was a very regular fixture, Pakistan traveling to India, right till 1986 to 87. You had some undelible memories and names associated with this contest, memorable in its own right. And right up till 1980s, when Kapil Dev, helming the sides, of course, along with Imran Khan, really sort of established what a rivalry these two teams shared. There were regular tours between these two countries. Of course, there was a break after the 1986-87 tour because between the two countries there were wars, of course, and of course certain turmoil rising on the political front affected the travel itinerary, and the bilateral ties had a bit of a break. The wars meant a gap in Pakistan's travel to India. The next tour, of course, only in 1998. That's what we see here now. Again, another memorable one. Post that series, there were a few more. Now, we can't quite forget the phase from 2004 where it went over to Sourav Ganguly and Inzamam ul Haq. These two sort of spearheading the attacks for the two sides. And then the era of MS Dhoni. We really can't forget that too with the 2007 series. The Pakistan captaincy, of course, constantly changing hands during that time. The last bilateral series that ever happened was in 2012-13. No more since then. Now, the World Cup in 2011 saw Pakistan come over. It was in the subcontinent, it was in India, and an intense contest in Mohali happened. Then after that, the last 2016, the last time they ever set foot was the T20 World Cup, when Pakistan came. And going by the cheers that they were welcomed in Hyderabad last evening, the trailer of this blockbuster encounter certainly looks very, very promising. And we'll give you all the updates as and when this keeps happening. Now, switching tracks to our next story here today. The Asian Games is, as you know, a constant focus for us. Here at FirstPost, some sporting disciplines have begun today, like badminton, and India is inching close to medal rounds, like in tennis, where the doubles team of Saket and Ramkumar have made it to the finals. Now, in some other events too, there are a lot of positives coming out for India. Let's quickly take a look in our roundup of the Asian Games today.
Here are the updates from the Asian Games. India has bagged a total of 24 medals. 6 gold, 8 silver and 10 bronze. The Indian shooting contingent success story keeps growing. They won another gold medal in the men's 10-meter air pistol team event. The trio of Sarabjot Singh, Shiva Narwal and Arjun Singh Cheema finished with a total of 1,734 points. China's team finished second, trailing by just 1 point. Vietnam were 4 points behind India and finished third. India's Naurem Roshibina Devi won a silver medal in the martial arts sport of Wushu. Devi lost to her Chinese opponent in the women's 60 kg category. After the medal ceremony, Devi dedicated her medal to her Wushu compatriots from Arunachal Pradesh who couldn't participate in the Asian Games. Moving to table tennis, in the women's doubles event, India's Shrutirtha Mukherjee and Ohika Mukherjee entered the round of 16. The Indian duo defeated their counterparts from Kazakhstan 11-7, 11-4, 11-7. Meanwhile, in swimming, the Indian relay teams smashed national records. In the men's 4x100 meter freestyle relay at the Asian Games, Srihari Nataraj, Anand A.S., Tanish George Matthew and Vishal Grewal clocked 3 minutes and 21.22 seconds in their heats. The women's 4x200 meter relay team are also through to the final. The quartet of Dhinnidhi Desinghu, Shivangi Sarma, Vritti Agarwal and Hansika Ramachandra came 8th in their heats. In squash, the Indian women's team have confirmed at least a bronze medal. This is despite having lost to Malaysia 0-3 in their group encounter at the Asian Games. The trio of Joshna Chinappa, Tanvi Khanna and Anahat Singh have qualified for the semi-finals. Malaysia finished at the top spot in Pool B, whereas India came second in the same group. The India women's team had earlier defeated Pakistan and Macau before being defeated by Malaysia.
Alright, so let's talk about Wushu then. The sport itself came into focus because of all the drama surrounding India's athletes. A few of them from Arunachal Pradesh were refused visa to participate in the Asian Games. And that created a bit of a stir, with the Indian Sports Minister Anurag Thakur refusing to fly to China. And earlier today, India clinched a medal in the Wushu event, a silver. Naurem Roshibina Devi took the silver medal, losing out to China's Wu Xiaowei in the 60 kg Sanda final. The scoreline was 2-0. Now, Naurem Roshibina bettered her bronze from the last occasion to get to silver. But this is how she rose to winning silver in the Asiad. What's her journey been like? Let's take a look. These are some of her achievements. Junior Worlds in 2016, she closed out with a bronze. Asian Junior Championship in 2017, a gold there. And then, of course, came the Asian Games in 2018, where she reached to the bronze stage. Moscow Wushu Star Championships 2023, she got a gold. So she really was building up her momentum. In fact, she dedicated her silver to of the people of her state, Manipur. So on Decode today, let's try and understand what is Wushu then. It's essentially Chinese martial arts. Wu meaning combat and Shu meaning art. Wushu is also sometimes called Kung Fu. Both are names referred to the martial arts. It was developed way back in 1949 in an effort to standardize the ancient and traditional practice of martial arts. In 1958, the Chinese government established the organization to martial arts training. What happened was stylistic concepts like hard, soft, external, internal, as well as classifications like Shaolin, Tai Chi, Wudang were all integrated into one system. Wushu was first introduced, of course, in Asian Games in 1990. And there are sub-events here as well. But we will focus on Sanda, in particular, the event that India won its silver in. This is only the second silver for India in Wushu in all of the Asian Games history. Now, Sanda is one of the major disciplines of contemporary Wushu. Sanda means free fighting or competitive free fighting, a modern fighting method with some influence of boxing, where takedowns and throws are legal, as well as other forms of striking like grappling or wrestling. Sanda appears much like kickboxing or Muay Thai. For safety reasons, some techniques from the self-defense form, such as elbow strike, chokes, are disallowed during tournaments. Contestants win by knockouts or points, scored by landing strikes to body or head. All right, we hope you continue watching our update here and get all the latest of what's happening in the Asian Games right here on First Sports. But it's time to wrap up the show here. But before we go, as always, we leave you with a little something. So on Last Serve, it's also an ode to some of these sports stars, giving the fan a moment to cherish. Check this one out. We know David wanted to always sort of play to the field and play to the crowd. He does that so well. But thanks for watching First Sports. We really hope you enjoyed this show as much as we did bringing it to you. Take care and see you tomorrow.